Alright, welcome back, my friends. Now, it looks like we've missed out on the BDSP hype train that Liv promised me many subs, many fans. But Liv, I'm a big fan of you. So today what we're going to do is we're chatting to my boy Amity. He's 100%. That's his GXE win rating. I don't think he's ever lost a game, not on YouTube at least. How does he do it? I'm pretty sure that those tournaments are fake news because the man's the GOAT. So today, what we are going to look at is VGC 2022. So I probably should have prepared better for this, but give me a second. Please, give me 1 second, please. I'm not Joe Buddy guy. So what we're gonna be looking at is we're gonna be using Amity's tier list to start going through some of the Pokemon that we think are going to be good and go through the tier list. Now, most people say, why wouldn't you just go through what you think your own tier list is? And the reason for it is because, one, I'm not as sexy as him. Look at him. Fucking little shredded thing. And he's quite handsomely already done the list. What's that one? Zacian-Crowned. I can't even tell. I'm just lost in his eyes. So, we've taken Amity's tier list and we're going to start looking at a few of them. And my boy Randy keeps hitting me up. And, Randy, he's going for Worlds this year. He's my boy. The man has got an obsession with the Yveltal because he tells me that the people are still wanting his GBA D-League rerun or whatever league he won. The GBA, I think they should give it to me and I think I should be allowed to reboot it. I'd just put the meme kids in there. Imagine seeing Aki VGC in the GBA. The man would smoke. But, if you know, you know. So, when looking at this tier list, I thought it would be really good to start going through this tier list that Graham has prepared and going through some of the pairings. And then, hopefully, when I'm educated enough, I can make my own opinion. What is this in F tier? This made your career. Go sit in the corner. Alright, that's enough thinking about him. So what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at Kyogre Yveltal. So, for those of you who do not know, these were arguably two of the best teams that were going around, two of the best restricteds in, the other series. What makes Zacian so good is this stupid move called Behemoth Blade, and this ability that allows it to +1 attack. Now, Kyogre, we're going to go Scarf. I think Scarf Ogre's the best. Santi showed us the way. It's very, very boring, this Pokemon. It gets this ability called Drizzle. It's a water type, and then also gets this move that is a spread move, which is Water Spout. Now, that alone, it just makes it stupid enough as it is. That's what I want you guys to remember. Now, Zacian is this, when you pair these two together, you get Soggy Doggy. My boy Masto, they were trying to, come up with names. Oh, hang on, never mind. Let me just quickly sort this out for the teams. Oh, hang on. Uh-oh. Let's just find the tweet by Masto. Because, Masto's the go. People just love him for his sausage. And I don't, because I love him for this. Oh, where did it go? We're going to have to go through his Twitter. And Twitter's not real. So when looking at this, we need to find the tweets and replies. Soggy Doggy. Oh, never mind. This is what happens when you don't have a real Twitter account. But Twitter's... Okay. What's it called? Soggy Doggy. Thank you, everyone. So that's what we have, right? So... Oh. Dang. Now I'm on a different screen. Alright. Let's keep going from this because it's funny. Okay. So we have Soggy Doggy is going to be what we call this. So we're going to start with Zacian-Crowned with Behemoth Blade, and we are going to go with Kyogre. Now, I think Scarf Kyogre is really good. And I also think as well that what makes, when you're looking at this, you need to think about speed control. Speed control is really, really important. But in particular, you need to think about ways that you're going to shut down, Trick Room mons, especially P2, Dusclops. So Urshifu is really good. So one of the structures that we have is the Jonathan Evans team, which was dual weather. So you know, when we're looking at this pairing, we want to start thinking about, you know, well, what are the mons that beat this? So there's about 3, right? So one is, you know, a faster Pokemon, so like Scarflecky, but also as well, the other thing that beats it is Gastrodon. Now, do we think random Tech Gastrodon's going to come in? Who knows? Because, like, if you start seeing, like, these teams where there's, like, Torkoal, Venusaur, G-Max, you know, Tornadus, and Urshifu, the dark one at least. This is what pretty much the Jonathan Evans 6 was. So, you know, this won't, you know, Gastrodon will be very, very annoying to deal with. Whimsicott's also a nice option. So I was actually speaking to Graham just before making this, just to get his insight on some of the Pokemon that he likes to use. So he said Zacian, Ogre, Torn, Whimsy, and Defiant. Torn or Whimsy and Defiant Thundy. So he likes that speed before greed. It is the Amity motto. Now, what I like to think of is more so what will impact this. So Rillaboom's a really good example. So Sirena is something that we can look at. But I also think as well, Randy and I were talking, it's like the G-Max moves are really, really clutch. Now, with this sort of team, you probably don't want Colossal. But one of the ones that I was sort of half thinking about was actually, I think the one that I wanted to focus on, it was Frog-type beats. Oceania team that he used. Let me just find the 6 for you. Because I actually thought it was a really interesting idea, because what I think you want to do with this format is you want to look retrospectively to see what worked previously and then go from there. Because otherwise what's going to happen is people aren't going to do it. So let's have a quick look. So, you know, we had Regieleki, Gothitelle, Galastria, Rillaboom, Politoed, and Kingdra. So what I think about it, right, is I think Kingdra's a very interesting option to have with this mon. So, you know, Kingdra does get Hurricane this gen, and I think Kingdra's a really nice option, because now you start having some balls to the wall offense. And that's what I was sort of thinking of. So the other way to think about it is we can look at some Swift Swim users. So, the ones that are there are like, let's go off like the viability. Kingdra or Ludicolo are probably the 2 most viable. Seismitoad's another one that can be quite viable. And then also as well, you do have, oh my goodness, the hiccups from the pop coin. Yes, so pop. You know, so what we want to do is we want to look at, you know, the other option we have is like, you know, G-Max Dreadnought, right? And I think you want to try to be abusing the speed before greed. You know, people are saying Seismitoad's good. I think Seismitoad's interesting, but I think, like, what I'd be looking at as well is looking at trying to stop some priority. You know, I think Sirena's really nice, just to stop the priority. Like, I also think as well, you know, the helping hand aspect, Triple Axle, Grassy Glide, and U-Turn is a very, very interesting idea with it. Just because you do, you know, you would run like Cobra but Berry, and you do struggle against, you know, the Tornaduses. But I think what you want to start looking at doing then is like, well, how do you stop Tornadus? And I think a lot of people will be looking at this thinking, well, how do I stop a Tornadus? And I think it's very, very simple. I think you can either go Kyogre Zacian like this, and you're going to go very, very offensive. The other option you do have as well is Taunt, as we saw on Sammy's one. But we also want to start thinking about how do you stop Tailwind. And I think Tailwind is something that we can stop with Fake Out. So, for example, if you're playing against Torn, you want to look into Fake Out. Now, when it comes to Fake Out, there's sort of not many Pokemon you can pick. You know, ones like G-Max Blastoise could be interesting. Gothitelle, again, as I said, I think trapping with Kyogre Zacian will become quite a thing. Remind me similar of the Lucamere and Case Victory, rest in peace. You know, a way of, you know, Durant, and Durant was really good, because I think as well, like, if you can get Fake Out, Parting Shot, maybe, you know, Taunt, or you want to go, you know, Darkest Lariat, or you want to go Throat Chop, and then you want to, I don't know, you want Flare Blitz as well, or Burning Jealousy, I think will probably be more of the move of choice on these sort of builds, just because, you know, you're going to struggle a little bit, you know, Safety Goggles as well. So then, you know, you're looking at this and you're like, well, I've got Fake Out now. Now, the other thing to me I think is important to note is Groudon. Now, Groudon and Rayquaza are going to be the two biggest issues. You know, what you want to look at is, again, how do you shut down these things? And I think if you're not going to run Trick Room, we're going to look into some of the, like, ice types. But, again, it's hard because we're so early in the meta as well. So, like, we don't have the G-Max bullshit moves as well because, you know, there isn't really one that wants to go on this team. I think, personally, you know, just the Helping Hand, Triple Axle, Grassy Glide, U-Turn. Behemoth Blade, I think, will be necessary. I think Sacred Sword will be necessary. And I also think, as well, you know, Play Rough as well will be very, very nice on Zacian. Also, as well, just with how common Zacian is, I would not be surprised if you start seeing, like, Imprison, Sacred Sword. Now, the reason for that is with the Imprison, you will stop opposing Protect. So your Kyogre can go for Spout, Origin Spout, you know. And again, you know, when you're looking at this, it's a, you know, a very, very deadly 4-man core to begin with. And now it's, you know, how do we improve the speed of things? You know, the one thing as well to really take into account with these teams as well is you need a good Dynamax option, and when you're running like Scarfo, you don't really want to be Dynamaxing it. Weavile was something that Santi used. Apologies if I butchered your name. It's fine though. So, what I'm thinking of is like, you want a good Dynamax option. I think Lando's very, very good. Defiant Thunder's also good. I also think as well, we don't have, I think, you know, like, we don't have an AV Mon, and I think AV Lando can be very nice on this team. You know, just because, you know, we're just testing things, you know, this gives us another Intimidate. Now, this may seem not so important, but I think as well it can be really, really nice. So, Earthquake, Fly, U-Turn, Stone Edge. As well, this now gives us Groudon now, but the only issue you have is Q White. And in my opinion with Q White, what you want is you now want to start looking at, you know, what are your Q White answers? And the answer is going to be not much. But I think the, like, best option you'll have for the Curums is you'll want a Fairy as well. You don't really have a good Lecky. Like, you don't have two mons that want to take on Lecky at the moment. Shame Ground Fairy does not exist. But, you know, I saw Excadrill. I was like, Excadrill's interesting. Garchomp's another interesting Pokemon. I know, you know, Gastrodon as well for the opposing matchups. What did I say? Q White. Yeah, Q White's going to be tough. I don't want to play against Q White. Well, Lucha's interesting. So I think, you know, Hitmontop as well can be interesting. Because Hitmontop, like, you could drop Incin for Hitmontop and go Wide Guard. And I think that could be another interesting thing. So let's have a look at the fighting types. Urshifu's going to be the main one, of course. Conk is another interesting one. Galarian Zapdos, I haven't seen anyone really run. Buzzwole, probably not. Cobalion, unless you're Eldritch Yan. Hitmontop, Lucario. Poliwrath could be interesting. I think you'll just go Sash Urshifu, to be honest. I think it's just good enough that its moves, its abilities, you name it, is going to be really, really nice. Sucker Punch. Let's make sure this is G-Max. Also as well, I think for the most part in this, you can now just start going like Max. I always like the dog spread, which is this. Fake Out, you know, the Wolf Glick spread as well. And I think as well with VGC, you just want to keep it really, really simple. I know Graham's did say that he, you know, likes the, what's it called? The Defiant Thunderous, and we haven't really given ourselves like a good matchup against Defiant Thunderous. But that's, I think, again, where you want to, when you're looking at these teams, you want to start thinking about these things. So, for example, we're going to have to play, you know, smart against Defiant Thunderous, and I think that'll be important to note when we do. And I think as well, the other thing as well is we have Burning Jealousy on an instant. I think that's going to be really, really clutch just to get some information out of our opponents, you know. 20. Venusaur as well can be quite annoying, because we only have, say, but then when you have Instant like Sarina, you can pretty freely go out into something. So let's get our first game. This will just be the teaser for tomorrow, and we run in a Q White. Oh, hang on, I'm an idiot. I have Zacian. Holy lordy, lordy. I think we just want to lead Zacian and Landorus. Urshifu wants to come in the back, I think. Yeah, Urshifu doesn't mind. I think Sarina as well is really good. Yeah. I don't think we need Fake Out in this game. I think it'll be fine. Alright. Now, hey, fella. If this is Blizzard, we are not having fun. We also need to know straight away that... Nice. Lovely. Succulent. So we know it's Scarfed. So Outspit, it's Regieleki. Going to Sarina here. Yep, we just get that. Oh, boys. We're gonna get a W. But yeah, you know, that's just some of your options with Soggy Doggy. You know, the day after we'll have a live. And I'll just do 30 minutes of gameplay. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, peace.